Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. My name is Clarissa and I'm your life and wellness coach and also a beauty expert. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. We'll be discussing all things health and wellness, feeling empowered, and loving yourself more while connecting your mind, body, and spirit. Always know that you can manifest whatever you desire for your greater well-being in your life because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Hey friends, hope you're having a wonderful day as usual. Today we're going to talk a little bit about plant-based foods, right? Because I'm always talking about eating plant-based and all the things, whole foods. And sometimes people are like, oh, what exactly is that? Does she just want me to walk around eating vegetables? That is not going to happen, but it's more than that. So a whole food, plant-based diet. I don't even like to say the word diet. I usually just say lifestyle or quality food because it's not really a diet. It is a way of life, a way to eat so that you can live, right? Because a lot of diseases are preventable or reversible, right? A lot of deaths that we have in the United States are preventable, and they're linked to what we eat, our nutrition. And sometimes maybe your doctor doesn't know, and it's not their fault. Sometimes they just weren't taught that. But you, just the fact that you're listening to this podcast means that you are aware and that you are willing to do whatever you have to do to heal or to live a long life to reverse or prevent any kind of illness naturally. If you need medicine for something, then you need medicine for something. But sometimes it's just suppressing your symptoms, right? And so you might be on some medication and you might be like, well, why do I still feel this way? Like there's something that's a little better, but there's something that's still off. And it's because you're just suppressing the symptoms, but you're not getting down to the root cause of what's really going on. And with diet and lifestyle, we really can just take the time to heal ourselves, to just work with ourselves. Our bodies are just simply amazing and they can just go to work and do the thing for us, right? So if you want to eat more plant-based, that will be your fruits, your vegetables, your potatoes, your whole grains, your legumes. And that's going to mostly exclude or minimize, your chicken, your fish, your animal products, dairy, eggs, your highly refined foods like your bleached flour, your refined sugar, and your oil. And if you notice, a lot of that's the stuff that clogs your arteries, right? And what happens when you clog your arteries? That starts affecting your heart. And it's just a trickle effect. And, we don't want that. I mean, heart disease, obesity, all these things are affecting our health. And it's much more than heart disease and obesity. I mean, I could go on. It's some cancers, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, your glucose. There's all these things that are attributed to a lot of it is your food and what we take in. And these are things that we can worry about ourselves, that we can take the time to just educate ourselves and to just put different foods on our plate. That's what it is, It might sound like a lot. People, sometimes might be like, I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to go that route because they think all you do is eat vegetables. You just think you're going to run around with a bag of kale and you're going to be like, I am bored. I'm not about this life. But it's more than that. It's so much more than that. And the vegetables are an important part of it because they're good for us, but it's not enough calories in it, It's not sustainable for our energy. And it's virtually impossible to get enough calories from it alone. Like if you're only eating like kale or spinach. That's kind of impossible. And we need more calories to sustain. Remember, we don't need 1,200. We need way more calories, right? And the more you work out, the more you move, the more calories we need. Which is why a lot of people don't last long when they're trying to eat this way. And remember, you don't have to eat all plant-based. You can just make it more of it. Just adding more plant-based food onto your plate. But if you're only eating vegetables and that's it, you will probably feel hungry. And then you'll have the decreased energy. Then you're going to feel deprived and you're going to get all those cravings are going to come up. And then you might start binging because your body is looking for those nutrients, right? So it's about balance. It's about balance, right? So it's not just about switching to a plant-based way of eating. You have to be able to still get everything that's required, right? So making sure that we have those starch-based foods, right? And fruit as well. So a lot of times I feel like what happens if, for example, you have a steak and you you build everything around the steak, right? So you might have this big piece of meat and it takes up the majority of your plate. Instead of having a smaller portion, maybe saying the palm of your hand, you make that the centerpiece, and then you don't have any of the plant-based foods on your plate, right? So instead, just making the starch comfort foods, right, the center, like what you might eat your side dish, okay? But still prepared in a more healthy way, not overly saturated in oil and all the things. So like your potatoes, your sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are so good. I don't know about you, but I love some sweet potatoes. It's just all about what we do with it. Because your potato and your sweet potato itself is good for you. And that it depends on if you're going to put all that butter on it and sour cream and bacon and all of that. That just takes the potato and covers it in things that you probably don't really need. Once in a blue moon, okay, right? Because it's all about balance. But you just don't take that one meal if you're going to have it and turn it into like 2 weeks, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just all about balance and just, paying attention to yourself. And also like the starchy vegetables, whole grains, right, is good. Like some quinoa, some brown rice. It's okay to eat these things, right? It's okay. And legumes, chickpeas. You can make some amazing dishes with chickpeas, guys. And also, just because you're eating plant-based, you still have to be careful of processed foods, because any food can be made healthy or unhealthy. Processed food, no matter how you slice it, is not the best option for you, okay? So just taking the time to make your food. So mostly food that's not in a package, right? Unless it's like rice, brown rice, some beans or something like that. If you're going to soak your beans, things of that nature. And also in reference to rice, for example, brown rice and white rice will look similar, but brown rice is going to be fully intact, right? And white rice has like everything taken out of it. So if we were going to pair both of those, we would particularly choose to go for the brown rice because it has everything still in it. It's not stripped of everything. So basically, trying to minimize as much processed food as we can, no matter how you choose to eat, is key. Okay, so it's not just about saying I'm vegan or I'm vegetarian or something like that, or Presbyterian or whatever it is. There's so many, quote, diets out there, way of eating, that it's about how you choose to prepare your food, how much of it you're eating, paying attention to what it is that you're consuming. But we do know, science even says that the more plants you consume, the healthier you become, the longer you live, the easier it is for you to heal, prevent diseases, all these things, right? Just like it shows that between the leading causes of death, genes only account for 10 to 20% of risk at most, okay? So a lot of times we want to say, but it runs in the family. But it's not just that. It's how you choose to live your life. Every last one of us has some traits, some genes in our family that relates to something, okay? All of us. We have a long lineage of all kinds of people, right? And we all make decisions. But it's what you choose to do and how you choose to live your life which pulls the trigger for it. So just being mindful of that you can take control of those things. We cannot control a lot in the world, but certain choices we can. What we have on our plate, how we choose to wake up. Do we want to wake up and have gratitude? Tell God what we are grateful for. Pray. All these things. That we want to have a mindfulness practice. We want to meditate. We want to work out, move our body. All these things that help us, help our well-being, are extremely important. So you have a choice. Medication for something we can reverse or prevent, or just take the necessary daily habits, turning to behaviors, making them a way of life, or looking at what we put on our plate and how we live our life. And right now, not counting coronavirus, because of where we are right now in the world, the top 3 killers are lifestyle diseases: heart disease, chronic lung disease, and most cancers, which are lifestyle diseases, so they are preventable and we can reverse them. And a lot of this comes from a diet heavy in animal products and processed foods. So a lot of meat, dairy, eggs, the oil, soda, sugar, and the refined grains. There are countless studies showing that the more plant-based you eat, the higher your chances are to live longer. there's many studies, even one by the CDC, who said the percent of living longer went up by 82%. Even though it is hard, because sometimes people might fib a little bit when they're doing a study, but there's been enough out there that prove that it does work. Because when you think about it, you're not getting all that saturated fat, right? Good fat, unsaturated fat is fine, but when you have all that saturated fat that's coming from all that grease and everything is getting in your arteries, right? And so that's when all this is happening and that trickle effect starts. So I'm not completely advocating for you to turn vegan, for you to turn vegetarian, but for you to be aware of how it affects your health, and for you to just try adding a little bit more plants onto your plate. It's not about completely eating this way or completely eating that way unless you choose to do that, because you have your choices. But for you to know that the more plant-based you eat, the more grains, the more fruit, the more vegetables, all starchy veggies, all these things, the better your chances are for reversing your disease or preventing it, and also losing weight. Weight is just a byproduct that happens when you start making these changes in your life. It just automatically starts happening, because whenever you're not eating that processed food and you're eating the more nutrient-dense food, then the weight just automatically just starts happening for you. It's like a miracle, and it just happens, and it's just that one day at a time. And it's just a good chain reaction, right? You wind up getting healthier, you wind up losing weight, you wind up increasing your energy, your stress is down. So I'm just here to give you the information, and I hope you enjoyed this. And please ask me any questions about nutrition, being plant-based, all of those things. And it's just about minimizing or reducing it altogether. Okay, so even minimizing it, because I told you I still eat some seafood. But I eat a majority of a plant-based diet, but I do eat other things as well. So, and also if you need some help with cutting out sugar, because you got a lot of sugar cravings, which sometimes we do, then you can go to bit.ly/craving fix. That's bit.ly/craving fix, CRAVINGFIX. And also the link is down in the show notes if you wanted to go there, but bit.ly/craving fix. And it's like 5 days of helping you get off sugar, and also some good sugar-free recipes in there. It's all kinds of things and some good information for you. All right, and so I hope this helps, and I will see you next time.
If you like my mommy show, leave her a review. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. And if you enjoyed the show, I would love for you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, share, and leave a written review at Miracles and Wellness. I would love to know your thoughts and what you would like for me to talk about next. Also, let's connect on Instagram at Clarissa D. Booker. Until next time, love and light.